now, right now. Right 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 now, right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. Well, it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking heavily about whether or not Bitcoin has just bottomed. As you already know, Bitcoin has corrected over $12,000 in the last 7 to 14 days. And over the last 2 days, Bitcoin has, again, seemingly put a bottom in. Today, we're going to talk about whether that bottom is in for those of you that are in step 9 of the Fence-Off way, and you are doing swing trades for this bull market. You're saying to yourself, hey, I want to sell Bitcoin at north of 100, or I'm going to leverage trade and do a 3x or a 5x, which, you know, I recommend you be very careful with that. But if you're in one of those positions and you're trying to make a trade, we're going to talk about whether or not this is the bottom. And if you're an investor, we're going to talk about more reasons why you should absolutely be investing in this market right now. And so we're going to be covering all of that and more in today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live. So make sure to stay tuned because we got a lot to cover. I'm your host, Jeb McAfee. I've been working in the cryptocurrency space for almost 7 years now, and it is my pride and joy. It is the thing that gets me out of bed every morning after serving God and serving my family to help serve you guys and help you succeed financially. You see, I've lived a lifestyle where I've been dirt poor. I've been very broke before. I've lived a lifestyle where I've been, and you know, I was very blessed in a lot of ways, but financially was not one of them, right? And I've lived a lifestyle where I made a lot of money, and I was not, and we do, you know, still, but you know, I've lived a lifestyle where I made a lot of money, and then it all just kind of went through the fingers, right? You hold it and then down, and it's just gone. And so I've lived just about every lifestyle you can think of, you know, rich, poor, in between, rich and stupid, poor and wise. You know, I've been in all of those different places, and I've got a lot of experience for my age, and I want to share with you guys what I have learned on wealth building. So today we're going to be talking about how to build wealth in the cryptocurrency space, and I'm going to help you guys get rich. Why? Why is it important to build wealth? Even before we get into it, I want to ask that very simple question. Why is it important that we build wealth? And why is it important that we are continuing to grow financially? The reason is because I have found that when people are not growing, they start dying. When we were put on this earth, we were put on this earth to grow it. We were told, and God blessed us, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. And as you read throughout the Bible, you find that the purpose that we have here on earth is to love God. Obviously, we know that. But our purpose in relation to creation is to grow it more and more into the likeness of our Heavenly Father, right? And so it's our job to grow what is around us. We see that in the parables with Jesus, where he praises the servants that 5x'd and 10x'd, and he condemns the servants that just buried the principle in the ground and didn't do anything with it. It's our job to grow things, and the reason for that is because that is natural, right? The land flowing with milk and honey. Milk is a symbol of reproduction from animals. Honey is a symbol of reproduction from plants, right? It's growth. This growth, it's a good thing. It's something that we ought to be striving for. It's something that our soul hungers for. So when you are growing, it gives you a sense of joy. And I want you to have that sense of joy because as you're growing, you also are growing your ability to bless your family and those around you. So we've got a lot to cover today. Let's get started. Sean O'Brien's in chat, said, yo, 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 good to see you. My friend Crypto Military Vet is in chat. Crypto Surge Queen. Joshua Carrero is in chat as well. Jesus Lopez said, seeing you from Spain. Love your content, boss. Shout out to the Iberian Peninsula. Shout out to Spain. España. All right. Let's see. Yes. Let's wait for the monthly close. Yep. By the way, if you are new here, I want you to go ahead and throw a hand up in chat. Give me a hand emoji. I want to give you an individualized shout out. Thank you so very much for deciding to join the stream. If this is your first time here or your second or third time here, go ahead and throw a hand up. I want to give you a shout out and really love on you guys and appreciate you guys who are tuning in for the first time. Obviously, it is our dream to grow our channel and so that we can teach more people about the principles of financial sovereignty. So if you're new here, love to give you a shout out. Really, really excited that you are all here. Let's get started. Over the last 7 days, we have had corrective movements happening on most cryptocurrencies, but we're having a little bit of a bounce. I'm here to tell you that it might be the bottom, but I think that there's also a solid chance it's a dead cat bounce. We're going to explain. Over the last 7 days, Bitcoin is down 5%, Ethereum is down 4%, Binance down 3.5%, and you can see on the last 7-day price action charts over here that the market is very much so, we are quite corrected, and we're seeing this movement here where we're bouncing. And when you see this movement right here, there's like a 90-degree angle. I'm just going to zoom in on this even more. You see the 90-degree angle here, right, on CoinMarketCap, on Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin chart and the Ethereum chart. You see these charts? What this is telling you that the bottom might be in. But what this looks a lot more like is what we call a dead cat bounce. This looks like a dead cat bounce because when you have a strong corrective movement and you don't have a strong recovery out of that movement, what ends up happening is that the traders get disenfranchised and you build something called a bear flag. And that bear flag has a price target, and its price target is lower than where we are right now. And quite frankly, many of the bullish pieces of sentiment that we are watching here on Bitcoin, they're not here yet. We've got, the bullishness of the S&P 500 may break bullish out of its rising wedge, which would be a bullish phenomenon. Totally. Absolutely. That hasn't happened yet. We may very well see the Ethereum ETF come online as soon as September. In fact, I've got a story here to show you. Gary Gensler says that the process for spot Ethereum ETF approvals are going smoothly. This is a quote. So Gensler is saying that this is on its way, and he recently said that it'll be incoming in just the next couple of months. So things are good, but these are not things that are now. And so when we look at Bitcoin here, what we're seeing, in my opinion, could be a recovery, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it yet. Remember our principles. If you follow your principles and they're the right principles, they will lead you to success. If you follow principles and they are the right principles, they will lead you to success. Why? Because it means that you've already made the decision. Somebody asked me one time how I was able to be so decisive. One of my employees asked me, how are you able to make decisions so quickly? Sometimes somebody will come to you with a decision and you're just like, boom, you don't even think about it. You just have the answer. And they weren't saying that I was being a fool. They kind of admired it. They're like, man, how did you do that so quick? And I told them it has to do with principles, right? It has to do everything with principles. If somebody comes to me, and even if they don't realize that it would involve being dishonest, like maybe they didn't realize that it involved dishonesty, or a different example, maybe it involved taking out debt or whatever, I'm going to immediately say no to that. It's not an option for me. The options that I have before me in life are very much limited, which makes life easier because I have principles. For example, in the FinSov, in financial sovereignty, 6 of them are choose FinSov, live on less than you make, have a written plan for your money, run from debt like your life freaking depends on it, save and invest, and be radically generous. Those are laws that I follow. If I'm brought a plan that does not include one of those steps or violates one of those principles, I'm not going to subscribe to it because I have integrity. Right? And so it comes to be the same thing in technical analysis. It makes this a lot easier. And it's one of the ways that I'm able to do technical analysis so quickly, which is something that people have talked about on our channel for a long time. There are principles. And the principles make the decision for us. It takes the thinking out of it. And they work more often than they don't. So very rarely do you go against those principles. Here's the principle I'm talking about. Bitcoin, when it is in a corrective movement, we follow a principle called the trend is your friend until it ends. The trend is your friend until it ends. You've probably heard the phrase, the trend is your friend before. I call it the trend is your friend until it ends. Because there is an end to every trend. And when that ends, the trend is no longer your friend, it's your enemy, right? So, one question. Has this downtrend that we are no doubt in ended? Right now, we're having a small bounce here, but as you'll notice, it's more like a 90-degree angle here. We go ahead and just draw a triangle, right? It's like a 90, maybe an 80-degree angle. It's a very obtuse angle, especially if you were to kind of pull it up here. Right? It's a very obtuse angle. You're not seeing, it's not quite obtuse, but it's not a V bottom, right? It's not a bottom that looks like, I don't know, like this, right? The market is not bouncing and recovering higher than where it started. Bitcoin dropped from $64,000 all the way down to $58,000. That's a drop of over $6,000, mind you, about 10%. And we only managed to recover to 62.5, and now we're trading at 62. That does not give us confidence that the bottom is in. If anything, that gives us confidence that the bottom is not in. That gives us confidence that the bears are stronger. How do we know that? Well, the most recent price data that we have here is that the bears are able to move the market $6,000. The bulls are only able to move the market $3,500. Duh. So here's the thing. We have a principle, and that principle is the trend is your friend until it ends. We also have another principle, which is that bear flags break bearish 70% of any given time. You can see that right here. Bear flags break bearish 70% of the time. And so when we are looking at those two in confluence, what we have to see is whether or not Bitcoin is going to break said principles. And at the moment, I have not been given reason to believe that Bitcoin is going to break those principles. Again, the principle is the trend is your friend until it ends. I have not been given reason at this very moment in time to believe that the trend has ended. So this at the moment is something that I think is a dead cat bounce. I think that Bitcoin has not bottomed yet, at least not in time, at least not in, at least it may need to come back down again. Maybe this was the bottom here. But I'm not convinced that Bitcoin is ready to go into a rally. We may just need to sit down here and trade sideways for a while. But honestly, I think there's going to be some more capitulation. And this is something that we've seen happen before. We saw Bitcoin sit up here and trade sideways for a long time, and we saw one final capitulation movement where we had that one last shakeout. You guys have heard of that for years. We've been talking about one last shakeout, one last flush out. That's kind of an idea in technical analysis that's pretty common. One last flush, one last shakeout, one last way to knock out the weak hands. Get all the last weak hands out, and then we move. And I think that's what we're looking for right now. I think we're looking for one last flush out. And from there, guys, the political landscape and the fundamental landscape, the macroeconomic landscape, all looks pretty solid for Bitcoin. One of the exceptions to that would be the Dixie. The Dixie is rallying quite dramatically, but it is in a rising wedge. So we'll see if the rising wedge on Dixie or the rising wedge on S&P 500 actually break bearish. If the Dixie breaks bearish and starts going down, then that will likely be a strength sign for Bitcoin and could help Bitcoin to really kick off and start moving to the upside. If, on the other hand, we do not see a break bearish on Dixie and it continues rallying, and we see a break bearish on US S&P 500, that's going to spell trouble for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin could drop all the way down into the 50s. So let me just put this out here right now. For those of you that are super bullish and super extravagant, thinking the market's about to just absolutely moonshot, we could be at the bottom. It's very possible. We've got this inverse head and shoulders pattern. But you also need to keep in mind that the Bitcoin fundamentals right now are solid, but the sentiment is not following. If you look at the Fear and Greed Index, everybody's freaked out right now because of because of Mt. Gox and the Bitcoin that's being distributed. Everybody that is getting their Bitcoin back from Mt. Gox is in over 50x profit. Over 50x profit. Well over 50x profit. There is going to likely be a lot of sell-side pressure because of that. So it's starting to seem like we could see one last flush out before we go into the next phase of the bull market. And that one last flush out well and truly could drop us all the way down to this level of support at $52,500. That would lead this total corrective movement to being in excess of 28%, which in my analysis would be very bullish for Bitcoin. I think that would be an exceptionally good thing for Bitcoin to do. I think it would be absolutely remarkable if Bitcoin did drop down $21,000 down to $52,500. And at this point, unless we get a stronger bounce, because quite frankly, this little bounce that we're seeing right now is freaking pathetic considering we've just dropped 12 grand. I mean, we're talking about a dead cat bounce right here, right? This is not, I'm calling that a dead cat bounce based off of this drop. Let's not forget that this is our little tiny bounce off of this drop. We dropped $13,500 and we bounced $3,000. that still means the bears are very much in power. So I am firmly in the camp of the bears until I am proven otherwise. The bears at this point in time are the ones that are leading the charge. And so we need to understand that they are the ones in charge. So what does that mean for us, you investors and you people that are trying to do trades right now? What this means is that if you are in a long trade, you are betting on the wrong side because the bears are in charge. You want to go with the trend when you're in a trade. Why? Well, because contrarians don't get it right most of the time. They just don't. Why? Because they're against the market, right? I understand the idea of, everybody's wrong, do the exact opposite of the masses. I get that. But at the same time, my method of analyzing the market is not about just going against what the majority says, because that is sometimes going to work, sometimes it's not. Sometimes the majority is right. The majority of Americans believe murder is wrong. I'm not going to disagree with them just because they all think that, right? That's kind of a irrational way of setting up your trading, in my opinion. What we need to look for here to be on the side of the bulls is we need to look for a bullish confirmation. A bullish confirmation might look like Bitcoin breaking through 64,360. A bullish confirmation might look like, on the longer term, Bitcoin breaking through 72,000. A bullish confirmation might look like LUX ALGO, which got deleted off my chart for some reason. But it might look like LUX ALGO coming online with a buy signal, right? It may look like that down on the daily chart or even a shorter term time frame than that. We've not seen a buy signal on LUX ALGO in quite some time. We do still, surprisingly, have a green trend catcher. But even down on the 4-hourly chart, even if on the 4-hourly chart, we saw us breaking bullish here, and we do have a buy signal, so that's a good sign on 4-hourly. But even if on like 8-hourly, we were to see a buy signal, that would start to give us some kind of confirmation, but we don't have it yet. So we're going to keep watching, and we're going to keep DCAing. Here's what you need to do. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do here. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do here to succeed. By the way, if you're enjoying today's stream, smash the like button. Let's see if we can't get up to well over 150 likes in the next few minutes. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. I really do. Here's what we need to do here. If you are in debt of any kind other than your mortgage, I want you to work on paying that off smallest to largest, and I want you to follow something called the debt snowball method. You've heard that before. I want you to take all of your debts, write them out, rank order them, smallest to largest, and then from there, pay them off one at a time. I want you to get out of consumer debt before you start being an investor. Why? Because debtors are not investors. They are slaves. The Bible says that the borrower is slave to the lender. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, Jeb's turning into Dave Ramsey. No. Dave Ramsey and I are both quoting Solomon, actually. Right? I have a lot of respect for Dave Ramsey. I obviously don't agree with him on everything because I love cryptocurrency. He thinks it's a scam, right? I do have a lot of respect for him, but the point is the borrower is slave to the lender. And last I checked, slaves don't get to build their own wealth. They're building their master's wealth. Right? Is that a little too sarcastic for you? Right? Slaves build their master's wealth, and they are working towards, if they're an indentured servant, for example, or a debtor, and that's why they're in slavery, 400 years ago or whatever, and in some parts of the world, unfortunately, they're working on getting out of debt. They're not so much investing as they are trying to fill the hole in that they're in. Either they're trying to escape slavery, or they are trying to pay back some debt that they have. So here's the deal. If you're a debtor, you're not an investor yet. You can't be a debtor and an investor at the same time because you don't actually own the investments. Really, your net worth is probably going to be net. Let's say you got $50,000 in loans and you've got $30,000 in Bitcoin. You've got negative $20,000 there. You don't have it. You're not going to outinvest your own debt. You've got to get out of the debt mindset. That is the number one thing. That is the number one thing that you've got to do to become successful with money is get out of debt. Romans 13:8. Owe no one anything except love. It's clear as day, plain text, simple. Get out of debt. After that, have an emergency fund. After that, invest for retirement to maintain your current lifestyle forever. After that, invest for wealth generation. That's how you do it. So if you have not started a budget, start with the budget. After that, work on paying off the debt. After that, work on saving a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. After that, work on investing for retirement. After that, work on paying off your house and investing for more wealth generation in other avenues like crypto. So depending on where you are in the scenario, in the FinSolve way, the 10-step FinSolve way, you are going to be doing different things with Bitcoin right now. If you are in the early stages, you're looking at Bitcoin because you're trying to learn, and yeah, maybe you put $10 a week in here or something, but the majority and ideally all of your wealth is going into paying off your debt, getting a second, third, fourth, 17th job, mowing 27, 47, 67 lawns, picking up dog poop all around your neighborhood, doing the grandmother next door's weeding for her, and driving DoorDash while juggling to entertain a toddler that you're babysitting. That is what that's what your life is when you're in debt. Right? That's your life while you're in debt. So you're not if you're watch the channel here, because in 6 months when you paid off all the debt, I'm going to show you how to invest. Until then, do the like Uber driving, juggling toddler babysitting gig on top of your 7 other jobs and pay off all the freaking debt. The FinSolve way starts with 2 wars. You see, because I believe in life, you can either go through a period of perceived peace, which then leads to unforeseen war, or you can go through war up front and get it over with and then live in the peace of the following. And it's the difference between procrastination or not. The reason that Neville Chamberlain got so much pushback during the late 1930s was because he was trying to hold on to this peace with Nazi Germany by appeasing Adolf Hitler. And so the war just ended up being all the worse because he didn't just get it over with and come in with strength and say, nope, snuffing this out. The entirety of the Second World War probably could have been prevented if Britain, under Neville Chamberlain's leadership, had have decided we're going to go and knock them out because they just took one step over the Treaty of Versailles. Probably could have been prevented or at least made a lot less severe, right? But because the Brits and the French and the Americans chose peace for the short term at the expense of causing a worse war in the future, it ended up causing the Second World War. The biggest bloodbath in the history of mankind, right? Here's the difference in what I want you to do financially. Don't just say, oh, la-di-da, I'm good. I'll just stay at peace. I'm just not going to think about it. And then it gets worse. And then next year, you've got $10,000 more credit card debt. Next year, you've got no investments. Next year, you've got no retirement. Next year, you've got no savings. Instead, what I instruct you to do in the financial sovereignty way is to go through 2 wars. You've got 2 wars that you must win, and then you can go through peace. And in peacetime, true peacetime, that will last, a lasting peace, that's when you invest. That's when you invest. The first war is a war on chaos. That happens in the first 3 steps of the financial sovereignty way. The first war involves you first getting on your knees and repenting of your foolishness and saying, I have been bad with money, and I've got to change. My belief system has to change. My identity has to change. What I believe about money has to change, because what I believe about money got me to where I am right now. And you declare war on chaos, forsake foolishness, and choose FinSolve. That is the name of the first step of the financial sovereignty way. The second step is you've got to immediately live on less than you make. No longer are you going to be running up credit card debt because you just couldn't avoid going to the vending machine. No longer are you going to be paying Discover and Capital One, who we've got no fees, and Chase, who's chasing you, right, with a like a chainsaw, like your Universal Halloween Horror Nights, right? No longer are you going to be making them rich because now you're living on less than you make. That's step 2 of the FinSolve way. There's chaos in your life. If you don't have a budget, which is step 3, if you don't have a budget, you have no idea where your money's going. You might think you know where your money's going, but you really don't. You think to yourself, oh yeah, I spent $16-ish. Oh, it was 87. Oh my gosh, I got to look at my bank statements, right? How many times have you done that? Because I know I've done that. Oh, you know, I probably spend $200, $300 a month eating out. Look at the bank statement. $1,600. We've all been there. I've been there, right? I'm not trying to put you down and put myself up. I'm just saying it's chaos. It's chaos. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. Bring it under control. The antonym to control is chaos. The first war is a war on chaos because the first 3 steps of the FinSolve way are where we demand that the chaos be subdued and we bring civilization to our finances. Step 3. That's where we build a budget and we have a written plan for our money. Because when you have a written plan for your money that you follow, then you are not being chaotic. You are being controlled. From that foundation of financial control, you're able to move on to the second war, which is step 4 and 5 of the FinSolve way, which is to save $2,500 for your starter emergency fund so that if your AC goes out or your transmission goes out or you're trying to get a new fancy job and double your income, but you need to go buy a $400 suit, you've got the money to do that. Right? And then after you save that starter emergency fund, you pay off all of your debt, smallest to largest, line them up, IRS first, pay them all off. And then from there, after you paid off all of your consumer debt, and after you have a budget, the budget is the antonym to chaos, and the being out of debt is the antonym to the debt, right? After you've won those two wars, you've won the war over chaos, you've won the war over debt, which we have, and we live there. No consumer debt. We have a budget we maintain every single month. That's where we are. We're in the peace phase of financial sovereignty. That's when you enter the peace. First 5 steps are war. Second 5 steps are peace. These second 5 steps are step 6. We're going to save a 3 to 6 months starter emergency fund. Step 7, we're going to invest 15% of our household income into retirement, with no more than 5 to 10% of that being in only Bitcoin and Ethereum, the rest of that being in United States stocks. After that, step 8 is we're going to work on paying our house off early, ideally within 5 to 7 years of where you are right now. And then we're also going to, in step 9, invest for extra wealth generation. And that's where things like investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency come from. If you follow that method and you do the things I teach you, you will win with money. Because then you'll get to step 10 and you'll be able to be radically generous, not only with at that point, when you're tithing 10% of your income and you've been investing for extra wealth generation, you've been investing for retirement, you got a paid for house, you're making $400, $500, $700, $1 million a year because of all these investments that you've been doing for years. Just your tithe, just the tithe part of your generosity will be more than most people make in a year. The extra generosity you're going to be able to do on top of that, because by golly, you enjoy 10% of a $100,000 bonus, or $200,000 a year of rental income, whatever it is, you enjoy just 10% of that. That's 20 grand you can enjoy. You can enjoy a lot with 20 grand. You can go on a hell of a trip for 20,000 freaking dollars. Right? You can buy a lot of cool stuff with 20 grand. You can really enjoy that. So the amount of generosity that you're able to have skyrockets, which is the purpose. Because in the first stage of the FinSolve way, in war, you're motivated by fear. You're afraid of the chaos, and you're afraid of the debt. Invariably, what I have found is that in the first, when people don't have a budget and they're in debt, they are invariably afraid of chaos and they are afraid of debt. Somebody in chat tell me I'm wrong or tell me I'm right. I'd love to hear it. Tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm right. I'd love it. In the second stage of the FinSolve way, you're motivated by generosity. You're motivated because people are like, oh, well, I read Financial Samurai's post the other day about becoming a millionaire before 30, right? I want to see what he thought about all that. And he was saying that one of his regrets for paying off the mortgage was that he lost motivation. My friends, when you have no debt, you don't become unmotivated unless you are not motivated by generosity. When you become debt-free, if you're not motivated, it's because you have not wired yourself to be motivated by helping people. I don't want to be motivated by paying off debt. I want to be motivated by changing the freaking world. I want to be motivated by helping people succeed. I want to be motivated by helping people that were in my shoes. I was 17 years old, watching my dad struggle with money. He didn't know what to do. He's a hard worker, but he didn't know what to do. Right? I have a lot of respect for my father, but he didn't know what to do. I thought to myself, I need to go and do something about this. I need to go and do something monetarily. It's my dream to go and help 17-year-old Jeb figure out, okay, you need to do something about money. Here's what you need to do about money. Here's how you manage the personal finances. Right? And I'd also tell them a lot about how to run businesses, right? Because that's what I do. But that's what I'm motivated by, is helping you guys. It's not for me about building $1 billion net worth. It's for me about giving $1 billion. You know, I've had the phrase 1 billion on my heart for years, better part of a decade. And what it is I firmly believe that it's my calling in life, one of my callings in life, to give over $1 billion to the kingdom of God. That's been our mission, our vision is to give $1 billion to the kingdom of God. And the mission is to teach millions of Americans, millions of people, how to build financial sovereignty and build wealth with it. That's what we're doing. And so God helped me to figure out exactly how to do that, but that's where we're going. And so when you follow those steps, you'll succeed. How do we tie all this back into Bitcoin? Well, the way we tie all this back into Bitcoin is that where we are right now and what you ought to do with the Bitcoin market depends on your situation. If you are what I call a chaotic debtor, because you have not gone through the war on chaos and the war on debt yet, then you have to go through both of those wars. And you think to yourself, oh my gosh, Jeb, you're telling me I shouldn't be investing in Bitcoin right now. What the flip, man? Yeah, I am. I am telling you that. I am telling you, and this is a controversial take. I'm looking forward to going on some other YouTuber shows here in crypto and saying this and seeing what they say. I am so looking forward to that. Don't buy Bitcoin if you're in debt. If you're in consumer debt, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't. Just don't. You will make more financial progress paying off the consumer debt. And more importantly than paying off the actual debt, you will make more progress by leaving behind the belief that debt is an option. Because I hear you right now. I hear you're thinking to yourself, oh, but I've got a loan. It's only $3,000. It's 0% interest. It's literally free financing. It's free money. The problem is not that you are not paying interest on that, because I get what you're saying. You're not paying interest on it. You're using their money and investing it, and you're not paying them anything. I understand that. The issue is that you believe that debt is an option, and so that is going to sabotage your wealth building journey because you believe that debt is an option. You believe that debt's an option, so you're going to end up using debt again. 100% of people that believe debt is an option are going to end up using the debt. I don't believe that debt is an option, so I will never go into debt ever again unless somebody's life depends on it. Right? I will never go into debt ever again unless somebody's life depends on it. Ever. Life and death, that's more important than not going into debt. Everything else, not going into debt. So if you are in consumer debt, continue watching the channel. I will continue teaching you how to build wealth. And once you've paid off that consumer debt, start investing in crypto. And I'm going to show you how to build a freaking ton of wealth in crypto. I have made millions of dollars in crypto in my life. I know how to build wealth in crypto. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. But I want you out of debt first. And I know you think, oh, but Jeb, I want to get these opportunities. Look at Bitcoin. Patience. Patience. The markets are full of opportunity. The markets always have opportunity. Nobody that got insanely rich just because of one once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Some of them did. You know, there are the few exceptions to that, right? You've got you've got your Steve Jobs out there, and you've got your George Lucas out there, and you've got a few exceptions to that. But generally, but generally speaking, the vast majority of people don't get wealthy because of one opportunity. They get wealthy because they took every opportunity for years, and then one of them panned out well. They didn't get lucky because they put one seed in the ground and it grew into a golden beanstalk. They put 10,000 seeds in the ground, and one of them grew into a golden beanstalk. If you miss out on this dip, there's going to be more. Pay off your debt, work 17 jobs, do the whole Uber driving while juggling to entertain the toddler you're babysitting. That gig, do it. I'm not even kidding. I think that's legal. I don't know. Is it? Doing DoorDash while babysitting? Can you do that? Can somebody tell me in chat? Is that like child abuse or something? Like, how about that, right? Drive for DoorDash. You're babysitting your sister's son, right? And they're paying you $15 an hour for that. You're door dashing, double it up, right? I'm just whatever it is, whatever you got to do, side hustle, to make some extra money, whatever it may be. Shout out to Rick4962, Yard Dog out of Knoxville, Tennessee, just donated $50. I appreciate that. Rick. You didn't have to do that, but thank you so much, man. Rick has donated thousands of dollars to the channel over the last several years. I really appreciate that. Alpha Cobra said, pay off debt with investment profit. If you're already in the investment, I'm not going to say that if you can pay off the debt in less than 2 years, I'm not going to say you have to start liquidating investments, especially not liquidating retirement investments. If you can pay the debt off in the next 2 years, you can take some of the investment profits and pay it off. I understand that. If you're like, hey, I think I'm about to double this money, then you can take it and you can pay off the debt, right? But I want you to have your debt paid off in the next 2 years. And that probably does mean that you're not putting any more money into investments. It might not mean that you're taking the money out of investments this moment, but what it does mean is that you're probably not putting any more money into investments. We're doing our retirement investment. I don't want you pausing investment for more than 2 years. if possible. Now, some people are so far in debt that they've got to just hustle and grind, and they're like 600 grand in debt, not their mortgage, and they've literally just got to do nothing but pay off debt for the next 3 or 4 years. They're going to no life it for half a decade until they fix that situation. And that sucks. But they chose it. I've never heard of anybody that's been in debt that didn't sign up for it. Never heard of that. Never heard of it one time. So we call that the stupid tax. And the stupid tax hurts sometimes, right? That hurts sometimes. So here's the thing. Pay it off. And if you've got, let's say, so here's an example. Alpha Cobra, if you want, you can give me real numbers and I can kind of guide you on this so that people can have an example. But I'll just make up an example in case you want to keep that private, because that's okay. This is why I want to bring callers on. Let's say you've got $40,000 in debt, whatever it is, student loans. Let's call it student loans because it's not something you can just sell and get rid of. Let's say you've got $40,000 in student loans. That's your only debt, just for simplicity. Normally, if somebody has student loans, they normally have a lot more of that. Medical debt, well, can't plan that. Well, if you can plan that, if you have a solid insurance policy, you can plan for that. If you have a solid insurance policy and you have enough emergency savings and a health savings account to cover the deductible and any of the cost sharing, then you can plan for that, so long as the health insurance company doesn't screw you over. So you can plan for that, but it does take putting yourself in that position, which we are in that position. So we're very blessed to be in that position. It takes work to get there for sure, because if you are flat broke and you have no insurance and you have to go to the hospital, then yes, you cannot help the medical debt. That's where I said, look, I'm not going to go into debt unless it's life and death. I'm not going to, let's say I was flat broke. Let's say somebody who is totally flat broke, but for some reason they don't have like Medicaid or something and they get cancer. I'm not going to tell them to not go to the hospital because I don't want them to go into debt. That would be horribly immoral of me. But you can put yourself in a position where you have good health insurance and you have a health savings account with a high deductible savings plan, a high deductible health plan, HDHP, and then, let's say the deductible is $2,500. Let's say the health sharing is 20% up to $5,000 out-of-pocket maximum. That's, a $5,000 out-of-pocket maximum. You got $5,000 in a health savings account that you set up with the health insurance plan. Then you take the money out of there. Even if you don't set up an HSA, then your fully funded 3 to 6 month emergency fund ought to cover that, so you don't have to go into debt ever. Basically, you are set up in a position where you never have to go into debt, so long as you are, running the system as it is. As far as the paying off debt with investment profit, let's say you have $40,000 of student loan debt. Let's say you've got $30,000 of cryptocurrency investments that you are investing for the short term. You kind of skipped ahead. You're doing step 9. You're doing the wealth generation before you paid off your debt. So long as you can pay the debt off in the next 2 years, I don't mind you doing that. I want you to be debt-free in 2 years. Every single one of you watching this stream, I want you to be debt-free in the next 2 years, even if that means for the next 2 years, you are going to work 120 hours a week. You're going to play it like Elon Musk. You're going to be sleeping in the bathroom at McDonald's because that's where you live for a little while. You're going to be doing something to double, triple, quadruple your income so that you can pay the debt off as quickly as you possibly can. That's radical. That's not popular, but it is the wisest thing to do, in my opinion, is to pay it off as quickly as you possibly freaking can. Total war. In the financial sovereignty way, step 2 is called slash and burn. Slash and burn. We are cutting off limbs financially. When I walked into the company, I've been told before, put it this way, that to cut expenses, we would have to basically start cutting off limbs. I've been told that. That's kind of where I get that from. Like, because there's so many parts that are like necessary to the functioning of the system. Cut off the limbs. Cut them off. Whatever you got to do, right? When your body is getting hypothermic, your body stops sending oxygen to your extremities first because it's the easiest thing for your body to live without. Your body can live without fingers. It can't live without a brain. Your body understands this. Your brain needs to understand it. Cut off the limbs, cut off the subscriptions, whatever it is. If you can pay it off in 2 years, then fine. Now, when you've got the investment profit, let's say you've got $30,000 investment and you double it, it turns into 60. Absolutely. Take the investment profit, throw it at the debt. My goal is that you need to be planning to pay off the debt in less than 2 years. Most people can pay off their non-mortgage debt in 2 to 2.5 years or a lot faster. So make sure to check that out. Make sure to not check that out. Make sure to please do that. Joshua Carrero said millionaires are living paycheck to paycheck, Jeb. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, there's an issue there, right? You should invite Altcoin Daily on your show. Yeah, I know Aaron and Austin. They are good guys. I've been on their shows a few times. I'd like to see them again. I met them in Miami in 2022. I'd known them for years before that. But anyway, so the question of millionaires living paycheck to paycheck, it's sad because a lot of people that are making over, I don't remember the exact statistic, but I think it's over a third of people making over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. And the reason that people are living paycheck to paycheck is because of two things. It invariably, it has to do with two things, or three things. Yeah, three things. Mainly two, but even three. One, they're not living on less than they make. Two, they don't have a budget, so there's too much month at the end of the money. And three, they are in debt. So their milks ratio is super high. They've got 40% of their household income is going to their mortgage. Way too much. We recommend 25% on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. We have people that they've got a car. I read something from, oh gosh, who was it? Who was it? I don't want to misquote who this was. Money. It's a big name. You would know it. I'd know it too. This is so stupid. This is so... Market Watch, I think it was. Market Watch. Was it Market Watch? Whoever it was. Yeah, whoever it was. Said that your car payment should not exceed more than 20% of your household income. Like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. Whoever wrote this wants the people watching this to stay freaking broke. That's absolutely asinine. That's completely ridiculous. What? That's absolutely stupid. I told I have a relative who's a in-law of mine who was over at our house yesterday, and he fixes cars. He works on clocks, and he works on cars, and he works on everything. I told him about the car thing. You know, everybody's buying these huge cars. I like your model better, where you guys buy cheap cars, and you know a guy. And he laughed about that, right? I know a guy. I thought that our car was leaking, you know, that it was leaking coolant because I bottomed it out on our trip up to the mountains. Turns out it was just a condenser line for the AC unit, and I'm just an idiot, and I didn't know that. So he, you know, explained it to me, so I felt a lot better that the car wasn't damaged, right? But I know a guy. I didn't have to take it into a shop and spend $300 on that. I know a guy, and it's a nice car, but it's a 2019 Camry, right? I don't need anything new. I don't want to get a brand new car with 2 and soon to be 3 tiny children with their sticky fingers getting them everywhere, right? But the better model is to know a guy and have a much less expensive car. Millionaires that are living paycheck to paycheck, first of all, a lot of people over 100K in income are living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of millionaires are not living paycheck to paycheck because they understand how to not live paycheck to paycheck. That's how they became millionaires in the first place. So what we've got to do is we've got to live on less than we make. We've got to have a written plan for our money called a budget, and we've got to declare war on debt. People's milk ratio is too high. They're getting milked. They're getting milked like a cow. Moo. Moo. Half of America's mooing. More than half. The only reason it's only half is because most of them are children. You can't loan children money. Thank God. Unless they're about to go into college, right? That's why student loans are up $1 trillion. But your milk ratio. I dare you. I dare you because I love you. I dare you. Calculate how much of your money is going to interest payments every single month. How much? The interest. How much? What's the interest charge? Go into your credit card. It's called an interest charge. What's the interest charge? Add that to how much interest you're paying on your mortgage. Add that to how much interest you're paying on your car loan. And the third. And the fifth. And, you know, we had somebody walk up to me trying to sell us lawn care. They said they have 8 motorcycles. And I thought to myself, there is no way you make enough money to own 8 motorcycles free and clear. She's got a loan on every one of those. Or most of them. I know it. I'm certain of it. So, how much... nobody gives a crap what you drive. Yeah, I don't. Folsom, I don't think meant nobody gives a crap what you drive. I think Folsom was saying that he was saying that, you know, people are buying these flashy cars and they're trying to impress people, right? Folsom, is that what you meant? I always assume the best in people, so I'm going to assume that's what you meant because I agree. Nobody gives a crap what you drive. You roll up next to them at the stoplights, like they don't even look at you. They don't care what you're driving. Why are you driving 25% of your income on wheels? Why is 100% of your net worth on rubber? Waiting to get smashed by some 16-year-old noob. And that's how you plan on building wealth. It doesn't work that way. What's your milk ratio? How much of your money is going into interest? Many of you guys is probably over 20 or 25% of your income. Imagine if you didn't have the debt, you would end up having a 25% income, 25% raise. Pretty great, huh? Please, guys, make sure that if you have not already also to sign up for NordVPN here. The reason I want you to sign up for NordVPN is because they're going to help keep you safe while you browse online. Here's the deal. A lot of people that are broke don't understand the value of security and privacy. And that keeps them broke because they end up getting hacked. And so they get a little ahead and then they end up losing it to a hacker. And I don't want that to be you. So sign up for NordVPN with the link in the description box down below if you have not already, because they are going to hide your IP address and your online activity and protect your data from cybercriminals. That data can include the login to your bank account. That data can include the private keys to your cryptocurrency. So make sure that if you have not already, sign up for NordVPN by going to nordvpn.com/Jeb. No debt here. Debt-free for years. Love it, Wisely T. Good job. Retirement is a scam. Enrico V. Why is retirement a scam? I don't plan on ever retiring. I want to have retirement in case I choose to. I want you guys to be able to retire, but I tell you what, when you guys retire from working for money, you've got to move into something that ends up bringing you joy. What ends up happening oftentimes is you go through multiple stages in life. You go through infancy and you are completely useless. Like my daughter, she is beautiful. She is awesome. She is amazing, but she is 14 months old and she is totally useless. Like she can't do anything for herself. She's a baby. That's where that's where I started. That's where Albert Einstein started. That's where Jesus started, right? You know, when he was born. You can't do anything for yourself. Now, Jesus could have, of course, but you get my point. The second stage, you go into being a toddler and everything's new and you're exploring and you can do some things for yourself. And you move into being a kid and you're like, I can do it for myself. And then you start to get some independence, but it's all about you. You're selfish. You're not in a place where you're really pouring into anybody. Then you move into being an adult and into being a parent, and it becomes about others and it becomes about responsibility. And that's where you really start feeling motivated. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? I'm back. I have no idea what happened there. Literally, YouTube just told me that you have no internet. I'm not sure what the war on Comcast, right? No, we don't have Comcast, but don't know what happened. Sorry about that. So anyway, I was saying I never felt the motivation that I do now until I became a father to my awesome son, and then even more to my awesome daughter. So we're an infant who can't do anything for themselves. Then we turn to a child and we can do things for ourselves, but we don't really do much for anybody else. And you teach them to do that. And then you become an adult and a parent, and it becomes about, yeah, I need to take care of myself, but it's more important for me to take care of, it becomes a huge part of my life to take care of other people, especially my children. And then as you grow into being an elder and your children are grown, then that's where you have so much more freedom, because hopefully you've been spending your whole life building wealth, so you're not locked down to your job, and you could retire if you want to. And your kids are grown and can take care of themselves. So now your job becomes to the community. Your job becomes to take care of your grandchildren and care for them, and not to be their primary caregiver. That's your children's job, and hopefully you did a good job raising them so that they know how to do that. But your job becomes to say, hey, you know, my daughter and my son-in-law, they want to go on a vacation for a couple days just on their own, which is healthy. We're going to watch the kids. Hey, my son and my daughter-in-law, they're having a baby. We're going to watch their other two kids for 2 or 3 days while they're in the hospital. Hey, you know, we're gonna go and be relief parents for not relief parent. We're gonna go and do babysitting, right, for the church, whatever it is. We're going to teach in the church. We're going to do something in the community, and that's where I'm trying to help you guys get to. I don't want you to get there too quick, because I want you to enjoy where you are right now, but I want you to be ready for that season where you're an elder, and your job is now to the community. When you are an infant, you don't have a job. You can't even change your own diaper, right? You are literally useless when it comes to doing anything physical. When you're a child, your one and only job is to take care of yourself. When you become an adult, it's your main job to take care of yourself and your family. And as your children grow up, it becomes your job to take care of yourself and your family and your community. And I want to set you guys up to the place where you have the ability financially to do that. So when I say I want you guys to be set up for retirement, I'm not saying that I want you to sit in Margaritaville for the rest of your life and get drunk. I'm saying that I want you to have the financial ability to step away from paid work, because you've been investing for long enough that your investments can pay for your lifestyle, and you can 100% focus on being a blessing to your community and to your family, which at this point hopefully is pretty large. Maybe you've got 3 kids, they've got 3 kids, so you've got, you know, 9, 6, you've got 15 descendants, right, including the spouses. So that's where I want to help you guys get to. Crypto Crow says, smash. Thank you so much, Crypto Crow. Appreciate you being here, my friend. Crypto Surge said the government doesn't like FinSoft. No, it clearly doesn't. Financial sovereignty, one of the laws is that you are running away from debt. The government is running a couple $1 trillion into debt every single year. One of the laws of FinSoft is to live on less than you make. The government doesn't seem to think that that's possible. And you got both sides of the morons in Congress saying that it's not possible to balance the budget. Absolutely ridiculous. There needs to be a constitutional amendment passed. There needs to be a constitutional amendment passed, and it can be ratified by 2/3 of the state by a Democratic vote, not even by a Republican vote. And I'm not talking I'm not talking about the party of the Republicans, but by a Republican as far as a representative Republican vote in the Congress. It could be passed by a Democratic vote of the states if we could just get somebody who would lead on this. Maybe it'll be me one day. Who knows? 2/3 of the states can vote to ratify an amendment to the Constitution. There needs to be an amendment to the Constitution that the budget has to be balanced. You cannot spend more than you take in every year, period. And so that needs to be given probably 10 years to correct itself. And over the course of the next 50 years, every single bit of government debt needs to be paid back. And the government needs to be banned at that point in time from ever taking on debt ever again. If we could get that passed, we would have a financially sovereign nation. And by default, if the nation operated that way, we would be teaching our children to operate that way. The nation doesn't want to operate that way because we've got too many people that would rather have a nicer car than to obey God's teaching, which is to be in control of our money. But if we repent of our foolishness, if we forsake the chaos, if we repent of our foolishness, if we repent of the chaos and forsake the foolishness and we choose financial sovereignty, you and I are voters. And we represent. And so when we say, hey, look, this is what's important to me. You want my vote? This needs to be important to you. I'm not saying single issue voter, but I am saying, like, this is important to me. If you want my vote, I need to see that this is important to you. I need to see a history of this if you're an incumbent. That's where we get to start having a say in how the nation runs. I'm not just interested in you guys becoming successful financially. I'm interested in changing the American culture. I'm interested in building this movement to the size and scope where there are millions of people talking about this. We need to change our culture. Our culture is flipping backwards. And if we can just get this right, it would fix a lot of things in our nation. It'd fix a whole lot. Guys, I want you to go and sign up for Uphold's Vault. And the reason I want you to do this is because I want you to stay sovereign over your wealth. And one of the easiest ways to lose sovereignty over your wealth is to have somebody steal it. Or to have it lost because you lost private key. See, here's why you ought to sign up for Uphold and for Uphold's Vault. When you do, you're going to be getting a backup key that Uphold maintains for you. And so you have this backup key, this Uphold key, that can regenerate either one of the keys, that can stand in the place of either one of the keys should you lose one. This is a 2/3 system. So 2 of these 3 keys have to be used to unlock the vault. Any one of the 2 can unlock the vault. So let's say you lose the 2 key, the Uphold key can stand in the place, and the 1 key and the Uphold key can open your vault. Let's say you lose the 1 key, the Uphold key and the 2 key can unlock your vault, and you can get in. The reason this is important is because should you lose one of the keys, you essentially have a customer service line to be able to get back into your wallet. But since it's a 2/3 system, Uphold can never access your wallet because they only have access to 1 of the keys. So if you've not already, make sure to go to the link in the description box down below and sign up for Uphold's Vault. You won't be sorry you did. You'll be very, very happy you did. Crypto Surge said, 2029, Jeb McAfee for president. I will only be 28 in 2029, so I'll still be too young, but I'm not against it. I'm willing to run for president one day. I'm going to be honest. I don't know that. See, part of the reason why we're never going to have a good president again is because you'd have to be stupid to run for president with how much crap the media puts them through on both sides. It really is nasty. But I definitely would make some changes. I would definitely make some changes. Absolutely would make some changes. Crypto Surge said loud and clear, yep, Uncle Sam doesn't like FinSoft. No, he doesn't. He does not. He does not. You'll have my vote for sure. Thank you, Abraham Lee. I appreciate that. For now, though, guys, just be looking forward to the FinSov Academy. I'm just going to run a poll real quick. Are you planning to join FinSov Academy? I want you guys to get excited for FinSov Academy. I haven't given you an exact launch date yet, but it is coming, and I'm really flipping pumped for it. The only reason it's not out already is because I've been really busy preparing for our third child, but it's on its way, and I am going to have so much fun in there. We're going to have a lot of video content to teach you guys, and there's going to be a lot of actual live content as well, where we're going to be doing streams, and it's not exactly a stream. They'll be more like Zoom calls. We're going to have breakout sessions. I'm going to be doing teachings every month. And so I'm very excited to see that. I know a lot of you guys might not, but we're going to be charging $99 a year. So it's going to be like $8 a month. You know, like you spent more on an interest payment on the car in your front yard than you every month than you're going to have to spend on FinSov Academy. The barrier to entry is going to be very low. And so if I can even get 10% of you guys in FinSov Academy, that's going to be awesome, because I just really want you guys and I to be in this close-knit community where we are constantly learning from each other and growing, and you know, I can do kind of one-on-one teaching with you guys, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for FinSov Academy. I know I've been saying it's going to come for a while. Like I said, it would have been out already, but we just are trying to make it as good as possible. But it's on its way, and I'm really excited to grow it and teach you guys. Guys, also make sure, if you haven't already, to go to the link in the description box down below and check out Crypto.com. You see, Crypto.com is the #1 place to trade Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. That's trusted by over 100 million users worldwide for good reason. They've got incredible user interface. If you've not already signed up for Crypto.com, you absolutely should. And the reason is because that user interface is going to make it easier and for you to invest in crypto, and that lowers the barrier to entry. I want you to have a very low barrier to entry to invest in crypto when that time comes, so that you're able to set it up as a habit. I want it to be a habit that you buy Bitcoin and that you buy Ethereum and that you buy other cryptocurrencies. I want it to be simple for you. And I also want you to be able to earn more money. And there's ways that you can grow your cryptocurrency in a compound manner on Crypto.com. So, for example, with Bitcoin, you can earn up to 5%. ETH, you can earn up to 5.5%. Private members can earn up even more. And there's a bunch of other ways you can explore in here to generate wealth in the cryptocurrency space in Crypto.com. So make sure that if you haven't already, that you sign up for Crypto.com with the link in the description box down below. All right, cool. Read a little bit of chat here, and then we're going to wrap it out. Joining FinSov, can't wait. Emily Guzman said, I'm very excited about it, guys, and it's going to continue to grow. It's not going to, when it launches, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be, it's probably going to remind you guys a little bit of CT2A back in the day, but it's going to be more than that, because there's going to be a lot of community features, and we're going to be doing meetings and stuff like that. But it's going to continue to grow. And guys, FinSov Academy is going to go through a lot of stages. We're going to be working on FinSov Academy and growing FinSov Academy for years and years and years and years to come. It's going to honestly become kind of the, we're going to be talking about it a lot here on the channel, because it's going to be like the nexus point for our actual, for what we're doing here. It's going to be where we house all of our actual teaching financially and for cryptocurrency. You know, we're going to have a lot of cryptocurrency teaching in there as well. Joe Kedgley said, I accidentally skipped his question. Oh my gosh. I did. We had a $2 donation earlier, and I'm sorry. Was that you? I'm so sorry. It doesn't show it anymore. Can you tell me again? You don't have to donate. Oh, here it is. I found it. Will Wolf getting lower. I don't know if it's too high now. I'm very sorry about that. Thank you for reminding me. Definitely did not mean to skip that. So, Wolf. Let's look at that for a second. Need to figure out. Let's see here. I assume you mean Wolf on Sol? You're going to have to tell, is that the ticker? For some reason, it's not showing up here. I know what you're talking about, but it's, I'm not sure why it's not showing up here. Wolf getting lower. Am I doing something wrong here? I don't work with the small cap meme coins very often, so it's not something I'm the most familiar with. Let's see. Do you mean Beowulf? I don't think you mean Beowulf. Which one are you talking about? Can you give me the ticker? That's strange. Crypto Surge said you're going to spend more money and coffee every day at Starbucks. Yep, that's right. Yeah. That's why, like, I mean, I charge $250 an hour for my coaching, which I know is out of reach for most people, and that's part of the reason we're building FinSolve Academy, because I actually want to be able to interact with all of you guys. Oh, Wolf the mining stock. I knew I was being stupid. Right. Let's pull it up. I knew better than that. That was a brain fart. We've been doing analysis on TerraWolf. I've talked about it for a while. I was like, why is it not coming up in CoinMarketCap? Because I'm used to bringing it up in TradingView. Here, let's bring it up in TradingView. Thank you. Sorry about that. You guys don't realize how much brain power the stream takes sometimes, because I'm like just talking straight. And believe it or not, I don't just do nothing but talk in real life. I do talk a lot. That is normal for me. But yeah, let's see. So TerraWolf here. Let's take a look at the regular chart. There is a lot of room to go here. Let's see. So we've broken out 161%. Let's take a look at some of the reports. I would like to know when the next earnings call is, if we can find it. So yeah, the stock's doing very well, obviously. I have seen a lot of good things. I think it's terrawolf.com. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. So we've seen, there's a lot of good signs coming out of its fundamentals. Let's see the earnings release here in Q1, March 31st. So yeah, they're going to have another earnings call here pretty soon. So we'll be on the lookout for that. But you can see here, Q1 2024 to Q4 2023 was a big boost. Revenue increased to $42.4 million in 2021 compared to $23.3 million in 2024. I'm going to be looking at this mining stock to see if what their revenue did in Q2, considering the fact that the market didn't grow as much. You know, revenue increased that much largely because of the fact that Bitcoin's value increased that much. Bitcoin's value has stayed sideways in the last 3 months, and the halving has occurred, which is naturally going to hit their profits. So I personally would not buy TerraWolf until after we have seen the earnings call come, which should be coming pretty soon, right? Earnings and revenue Monday, the 12th of August, right? There was an earnings call back here. I would wait for the earnings call personally to see what their earnings look like, just because I think that they're going to have got. I think that all of the mining stocks, for that matter, are going to have gotten pretty flipping hit when we saw Bitcoin trade sideways and when we saw the halving take place. So I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would be buying it right now. Vintage Excellence said Starbucks has overpriced itself to the extreme now. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. It's crazy. I used to drink Starbucks sometimes. I do every once in a while, but it's crazy. You're paying $9 for some bean water. It's nuts. Absolutely crazy. You got some sugar milk there and you were going broke for it. It's like, it really is. It's the silent killer. Starbucks has also turned into a bank, by the way, in case you didn't realize that. When you have money in the Starbucks app or whatever, they fractionally lend that out. Starbucks has become more of a bank than it has become a coffee shop. It's very, very odd. Starbucks is a strange company. It's a weird company. I liked, don't get me wrong, some of their coffee, oh my goodness, I cannot wait until winter comes. That pumpkin spice, you can call me a white girl all you want. I don't care. That stuff's good, right? We're going to have that chai tea latte. It's good. I have it every once in a while. But, yeah, I'm not drinking Starbucks often. I drink Starbucks probably less than once a month, just because it's so stupidly expensive. So dumb how expensive it is. It's crazy. Anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed today's stream. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned because we have a lot more content coming. Looking forward to you guys joining FinSolve Academy, because I'm going to be able to have an even closer relationship with you guys in there, and that's where we're going to be able to have all of our teaching. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that. I'm very much excited for that to come out, working on that hard. Before I go, though, guys, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good